Pretty girl, sunshine in the air, perfume everywhere, girls are everywhere. What up, what up, what up? Happy Saturday. Here we go on the Saturday edition of your boy Cartender, A New World. Pretty girls. You ever dated one? You ever been with one? You ever seen one? I know you've seen one before. Actually, Wale, great song by Wale. Check it out if you never heard it before, called Pretty Girls, Wale out of DC. Real quick before we get to the business, just want to give a shout out to Kevin, new subscriber. A bunch of you new subscribers. I'll make sure I give some shout outs at a later time. I really appreciate everything. My little god niece Janaya's mom Rashida and Ziana for subscribing, and also a bunch of other people who I've run into and say, hey, look, you know what? Do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. Pretty girls in relation to also with this deal with Cassie and Jane Doe, but as we all know, it's 50 Cent's kid's mom. Like I said, you ever see a pretty girl before and you look and you say, damn, you know what? I want her. I really wish I could have her. And as any man knows out there, it doesn't matter if you're 15, 20, 30, 40, 50. Guys tend to do goofy stuff around women. Like me, I've done it before. The guy, when you sit down and then, the guy, women walk in, he wants to be the life of the party. He wants to be the one that makes everybody laugh, to make everybody, hey, look, notice me. Notice me. Look at me. That's what guys do. That's the effect that a beautiful woman will have around men. Even, quote unquote, regular or average looking women have that same effect around men. But there's something about a woman who people, and this isn't just a guy thing, that people consider universally beautiful. And the black community, where I know we used to coin this term, she's exotic, dog. Shorty look exotic. Exactly the way Cassie and Jane Doe, 50 Cent's baby mom, looked. Girls who are appear to be mixed. They got some black in them, but they're not. Or they high yellow. And we could go down the line, because in the community, there's always a issue of colorism that just can't be denied. But pretty girls, and we all know them. And what happens is that pretty girls, they get what? Privilege. They get privileges that most of us would never even think of. Think of it like this. Think of as a man, right? You're so good looking, you're so in shape, so buff, that you could just walk past women and they offer to take you to dinner. They offer to give you money. They offer to take you on trips. Now, there is probably a 1% of men that can pull that off. But eventually, even still, if he could pull that off, his greatness as a man is going to be questioned and going to be challenged. Because eventually she's going to want to know, when are you taking me out? When do I get to ride in your nice car? What are you going to do for me? How are you going to help me with my house? But a pretty woman, she could come in somewhere and she could command the entire room. You don't believe me? Just ask a woman that feels as though she's a universally accepted, beautiful woman. And she'll tell you. She'll say, because I've heard it before. Yeah, because I couldn't understand. When I walked in the room, guys just stopped and looked around. They just, such and such. Or when I go to a bar, and this is also for quote unquote, I guess, average women, looking women. Oh, when we go to the bar, we don't never pay for drinks. Why you don't pay for drinks? Oh yeah, when we go, we always up in VIP. Why you don't pay to get in VIP? I've had to buy bottles before to get in VIP. Oh yeah, dude, he just gave me free backstage passes to the Roots, or to the Roots concert, or to this concert, or to this thing or that thing. things that cost an inordinate amount of money. But these things are just given to women. And a lot of times, guess what happens? You ready for this? As a lot of you know, they don't even have to give up the sex initially. They just get stuff. You get a ticket, you get a car, you get a chain, you get a house. It can be no more apparent than, let's just take Jeff Bezos, Amazon guy, third richest man in the world. He just married Lauren Sanchez. Lauren, I don't want to botch her name, but you get what I'm saying. Pretty woman. She's dated several different athletes, including having a child with Tony Gonzalez, the former Hall of Fame tight end for the Kansas City Chiefs. So she has been the desire of a lot of different well-off men, not because she can cook. I don't know, she can. Not because she's a great reporter, because I think she was a TV anchor. Because she's beautiful. She has an appeal. She has an aesthetic appeal to men, and probably women also. That's the one thing I can appreciate about women. See, women can say nice things about other women. Women can big up their own girlfriends, or, you'll hear a woman, yeah, because, and I couldn't even understand that, why he treat her like that. My girlfriend is beautiful. She's pretty. She's beautiful. She got a nice body. She's such and such. And a lot of times you see the picture, you say, okay, yeah, she is a nice looking woman. But back to Jeff Bezos. He could have married any woman on earth. He was married to his first wife for a lot of years. But he chose to go with this woman. Pretty face, maybe have gotten some work done. Boobies sit up. Still looking good. So you ever notice that though? You ever notice that? How pretty woman privilege gets people a lot of things. So now let's bring it back around. What did it get these women? And I know, and I appreciate all of the comments that people have sent, and I respect everybody's viewpoint because, unfortunately with topics like this, I know that there's going to be a lot of feedback both ways about it. But what we have to do is that we have to be honest. And when there is something called pretty girl privilege, women have privilege already just because of what the desires of men are. But once you throw into, as how the girls say, the face card, and you throw that into effect, and when everybody knows that face card is on point, then everybody tries to get it. And what happens typically with guys? The guys with the most money most times, or the most influence most times, are the guys that are first in line. Guys know this. Sometimes you'll go out, you'll meet somebody, and you'll know in your head, you'll be like, because it took me a long time to get to this realization, because you do, and sometimes I still think like this, but you'll be like, you know what, I ain't gonna even say nothing to her, because she's kind of probably out of my league, you dig? She probably wants a boy that's gonna do this, and I know I'm not gonna do this, and this. And then after you do get a couple things, get some confidence, then it's almost like nobody can tell you anything. But still, as a man, you understand before things even start, before you even talk to her, this might be an uphill battle. Because a couple things. First of all, I can tell she may be, I guess, a little high maintenance, whatever you deem that to be, but we traditionally know what that means. Then on top of that, I know that she has probably either a man or a line around the corner. And that's why I said we don't need to fool ourselves. We all know this. We all know this because that's the thing about somebody that's universally beautiful. Most of us view that person as beautiful. So if I like her, I know he like her, I know he like her. And guess what? She like her, she likes her, she likes her. All these different people like this same person because she's pretty, because she's attractive. She's a good looking woman. From everything I've heard before, like, with different celebrities, rappers giving their certain different accounts about Cassie, said that the first time they saw her, they were just like in awe. Even one of the escorts, he was in awe. He couldn't believe that he was going to get the opportunity to get paid and paid well, $5,000 or $6,000 to be with someone so beautiful. And I remember even watching her early on in her career years ago, and I thought the same thing. I said, you know what? That's a she's a pretty girl. She's pretty. And I've always had a thing for A. Marie because, you know what I'm saying, I always thought A. Marie was attractive. So those are kind of the only two in the industry that I can think of that kind of similar, those kind of different traits as far as their potential, the background of what they are, ethnic wise. But they still possess this exotic beauty, as the community would say. They still possess this pretty girl thing because let's just face it, neither one of them has ever been accused of being a Patti LaBelle or an Aretha or Whitney Houston. Okay? As far as talent wise. But it's funny how when you are a pretty woman, things just open up for you. Millionaires, billionaires just want to give you everything that they got, or give you a lot of what they got. So when we think about, was this person used? Was this person abused? And I like to come at it from different angles because it's always multi-layered. It's never just as easy as saying, oh, this pretty girl, she just happened to be so pretty that she got picked up, she got seen on the street, they saw her, and then boom, next thing you know, she's with one of the richest black people in the world, and P. Diddy. And then it happens again with 50 Cent's kid's mom, where she just went from another high profile guy such as 50 Cent, and then she just happened to fall into the arms of Diddy. I don't think it works like that. I think there is a long process, but guess what it does? It starts at being pretty. Because if you're not exceptionally pretty, you don't get a certain amount of access. It's just like with any of us, right? Guys who are 6'2" or whatever and above, hey, listen, they hardly ever get told no. Anybody that's shorter than that, guys that are shorter than that, hey, you know what? Sometimes, you got to put your gloves on and strap for other things. But, when you're up in the clouds, as far as height, as far as a man, it shrinks your reduction rate to almost zero. Because the funny part is, I never heard a woman say, oh, yo, I don't like boy, he too tall. Never heard it before in my life. Now, she may just be into something else or whatever, but that's rarely a issue for tall men. Just like for women who are exceptionally, universally considered to be beautiful, it's not a hard thing for them. So these doors that start to open, and sometimes when some of these doors start to open, they always aren't the best doors. I'm going to throw it back to you. Tammy Terrell from this great city of Philadelphia. Beautiful. If you don't know what I'm talking about, look her up. She did Ain't Nothing But the Real Thing, Baby, I believe, with Marvin Gaye. Beautiful woman. And her beauty, along with her talent, because she was talented, got her in the music industry. And unfortunately, it's alleged that she was being beat up by some of these men. Is it right? No. It's disgusting. But the thing is that being beautiful is a gift and a curse to a lot of women. But, a lot of people, you weren't asked to be born here. Okay, I got a black dad and a Filipino mom. I got a Jamaican dad and a white mom. I got a Puerto Rican dad and a black mom. Nobody was asked to be born into that. But when you do have it, and when it's universally recognized by people around you all the time that you are exceptionally beautiful, then guess what? There are going to be exceptional decisions you may have to make. You may have to say, hey, look, I'm exceptionally beautiful, but you know what? My daddy ain't putting up with that. I'm exceptionally beautiful, but I can see that coming from a mile away. I'm exceptionally beautiful, so I won't sell my soul for nothing. Because not only am I exceptionally beautiful outside, I'm exceptionally beautiful inside. And so that's a little bar for people like me that are raising daughters, whether they're considered universally beautiful or not. We got to universally put the right stuff into them so that they don't get caught up in situations that appear to be tricking or getting pimped out or getting drugged out. And of course, you can only do the best parenting you can do. Your kids are still going to make the decisions they want to make. But if you know, and if I know, that we're doing the best possible job to make these young, beautiful women, because they're going to be beautiful to somebody. They're going to be bait to somebody. But we want to make sure that even if you step out there, baby daughter, we can pull you back in. And what a lot of times with these women, and I had responded to a comment saying that, you know, most of our mothers aren't in entertainment or groupies. You ever been around groupies before? Me, not really, but I've been near them. And just me, as a regular average guy, blows me away. They smell like they just came out of heaven. I'm like, where did she get that perfume from? Their bodies look like they were made out of clay. Like God just made them out of clay. But hey, what do I know? You know what I mean? I ain't got no groupies. And I ain't into some of that weird stuff that he was into. But hey, that's just one guy's opinion. But what do you think? Do you think that women having pretty privilege causes them to have more problems? Or do you think it's a good thing? But you know how we do. Until next time, live life. Don't let life live you.